in the red. Controlling the bottom right side of the map, that's going to be his turf. And displaying an awesome TBT in that previous game is going to be none other than the one, the only.
Who is it?
He's really good. What's his name? He is. God damn it. I guess those voices are not coming. SC. How do I say his claim?
Faux-you.
Faux-you. Over here in the blue is Lynn. So we're going to start talking about this game.
That
Very
wasn't
famous
nearly as
Warcraft 3
epic.
player. I guess for some reason the voices aren't going to come on that time.
I know, man. It's...
All right. So.
It wouldn't be the GSL, though, if everything went smoothly.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of adds for some entertainment. All right. What are these two guys going to do? We could see drops again. We did see Lynn do a very good job with the Hellion drops that time.
Yeah, yeah. You know, one factory blue Hellion drops can be quite nice. 2 factory blue Hellion with no starport. Not as nice.
Not as nice at all. The build I prefer to do on this map is to actually get 1 Banshee and then just get a Viking right after that. And then
you
a
get
Raven.
cloak or no?
It depends. It depends on what I scout them doing. If I see them doing 2 racks, then I would get cloak. Because then I'm just going to kite around with the Banshee and try to force stims and try to get them to waste what could have potentially been mules, but grew up to be scans instead.
Yeah.
And then
that's too bad because a mule may be fleeting, but a scan even more so.
So basically, then what I do is I get the Raven out. I just try to make sure I can't get Banshee harassed. And you expand, sometimes you go 3 racks Marauder, use point defense drone and stuff like that. If they're going Marauder, there's lots of stuff you can do. This matchup's actually so complicated and so not entirely figured out yet.
Yeah, yeah. It's not as unfigured out as Zerg vs. Zerg, though.
No kidding.
We can definitely say that.
I'm like, sometimes I'm casting games and I'm like, oh, you can do that? Okay, like.
Yeah.
Unlike Zerg vs. Zerg and StarCraft 1, which has basically been the same thing for about, 9 years.
Yeah.
There was a period where people thought you could 2-hatch Hydra. Remember that? Remember that? You thought you could get 2 Hydras?
I used to do that, man.
I used to do that, too. I was like, well, I'm going to go Hydra. I know that build. And then it turns out, actually, after years of pro gamers testing every build, the only thing you can do is go Ling Muta. Sometimes just Zergling.
Well, there was 9 pool. There was, 12 hatch?
Yeah.
And then there was 12 pool. And it was like a rock, paper, scissors. Oh, well, there was also like...
the 4 pool.
Well...
That's what I did. I was like, I hope he hatches.
There's also
12.
the Jadong. That guy, it doesn't matter what build order he does.
Yeah, where he makes the universe bend to his will.
Yeah.
And we are going to have this Scouting SCV come up here. And he's peeking. He wants to see, is there anything at the expansion? No. Reactor, by the way, over here for SC. Tech Lab over here.
Okay, so SC Faux-you. Maybe both of them tank Marine. That's what it's looking like so far.
Looks like it.
Which is interesting because I don't think I've ever seen a TBT here where one guy did not make a starport because, of course, on this map, you're so close by air, starport stuff is good.
Command center on the way here for Lynn. Lynn going to go for that expansion.
SC Faux-you, though, getting his siege tank first.
And he's actually going to swap these and put a starport here.
There we go. There's a starport, and also SC Faux-you. Throw down a starport right there as well.
So, looks like Faux-you could be the aggressor here, but this map is hard to be aggressive on. It's good to take your expansion after you've taken all the precautions necessary, in my opinion. IMO.
IMHO.
But I'm not actually humble about it. I'm like, no, the other stuff's bad.
Fair enough. At least you're honest.
But we'll see. SC could do a ton of damage here. A lot of it's going to depend if the 2 players do opt to destroy the destructible rocks and engage. I think ideally Lynn would want to keep those rocks alive, whereas obviously the aggressor in this case, SC, is going to want the opposite of that.
Now, this is pretty interesting. Lynn just scouted with a scan everything that SC Faux-you's doing. SC Faux-you, of course, responds to that by spreading the units on his main to make sure no drops come in. But he's basically going 1 base tank Viking. In the meantime, we do have well, Mr. Lin, he's moving his units across the map. Kind of funny because he has so few.
I think what he's actually doing is he's trying to
pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know, man. I don't know what kind of units he's thinking he's going to have to beat this, because right now in Lin's base, he is making a Raven. And that Raven is not really going to help out against a quick timing push with siege tanks in siege mode.
He definitely won't have point defense drone or anything
with
like
Marines
that.
and
well, actually, I don't think point defense drone, I guess, will play too much of a pivotal role in this battle.
Yeah, well, there are some Vikings,
yeah,
but there's a reactored Viking production coming from SC4U, so he's obviously going to have so many more that the point defense drone wouldn't even do anything.
I suppose Lin feels like he can do a lot with a little. But this is a pretty heavy assault that's going to be headed towards his way.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty solid, and, well, Lin is just starting siege mode now, whereas our siege mode is just finishing for SC4U. So this is, well, I don't know about
here.
this
He's turning
Lin.
around, though.
Oh, no. What
is he doing? He's being
Well, he's
indecisive.
expanding, but if he actually attacks right now and attacks well, he can just tank push his way in and win the game.
Oh, nice shot. Now he's up in the Viking game. And in the Viking game, Artosis, it's all about numbers.
It's all about pillaging.
That's right. This command center only just now starting. Lin with a pretty big lead that's going to explode his economy.
Yeah, SC4U really kind of blowing my mind here. You know, he kind of saw that this guy, you know, if you have an expansion up and a Raven,
yeah,
doesn't that kind of figure that you
that
can
indicates
attack?
you actually don't have stuff to defend with?
Yeah,
I mean, you can't actually just do everything at once.
the Raven is a fancy unit. Yeah, you can't tech all the way up to get a Raven, expand, and have the units to hold off someone who's been going dedicated siege tanks and Marines with the siege mode.
That's why you're a StarCraft player. You know why it's so annoying when somebody says something stupid like, well, how do you stop, like, you know, 13 carriers? And it's like, well, all right, first of all, you just gave me brain cancer because that's such a stupid statement. Like, you don't let them get that much. You know, because obviously if they're
Or
doing
if they
that,
do, you have that much to counter.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's all about balancing all the actions you're doing and understanding what priority is.
It's quite right, Tasteless. Those
Speaking the
noobs.
truth. Those noobs. Some of them are watching our show, but they're learning.
Yes.
And if you're one of those noobs, we love you.
Here's the thing about noob, though, Tasteless. It doesn't know it's a noob.
Yeah, that's the worst. When you get a noob, like doesn't know, you like make some bold statement that like doesn't actually make any sense.
In
and
my
like,
Silver
well,
League, this build does work. You're wrong.
Strangely enough,
And I'm
it
like,
seems to
oh,
me
okay. Well, I guess I'll stop posting in this.
I only lose to mothership rushes. I'm like, oh, well, that's just a very strange thing to say.
Anyways, we have Lin patrolling the center of the map with his Vikings, trying to get some free kills, and snaps
Certainly
the neck
does.
of that medevac dropship.
Yeah, no kidding. Lin is looking like he's in a very good position right now.
Yeah, he is. He had weakness, and SC did not punish the timing. And look at this! A siege tank was in that. Oh, it cut out. Never mind.
It was hiding back here. I wouldn't have seen it right away either.
It was in the smoke. Smoke was in my eyes.
Now we see Lin's economy is exploding now. This is not a bad position to put these barracks. I agree with it more than when Lin was putting his critical buildings in
Yeah,
locations
that's-
with siege tanks. That might have been one of the reasons why he lost that game.
You know, that location, and in fact, let's take a look at that again, Tasteless.
All right.
He's even putting add-ons, so he isn't going to want to lift them up. If he actually gets dropped behind there, how does his units get over?
It's gonna
Single
have to lift
file?
them. Yeah.
So go ahead.
Line up.
In fact, I think that might even be too tight for a siege tank get through, so.
Uh-oh. He's going to try to go for the rocks here.
Now, I think what Lin's going to do here is set up a little siege row. This is actually a really cool move you can do, where if you break down these rocks and then you siege up, your opponent has to leave siege tanks there.
Yeah.
But you are kind of on the offensive with it. If he ever moves with them, look at that beautiful Viking
Whoa. Look at that.
But anyways, with those tanks sieged up right there and a bunch of Vikings as well, well, basically, your opponent has to keep a lot of units there. If he tries to move out with them, you simply take 2 steps,
Right.
and you're hitting his factories.
Exactly. Note SC is going to have to shoot a couple extra scans here. And meanwhile, we have some Marines coming up here.
His Marine's not going to do a whole lot.
Nope, not a whole
SC4U
lot.
loves his Marines, man.
He does. Meanwhile, we have a drop over here in the main.
See, turret took out the medevac dropship. Drop probably not going to be worth it. Takes out 2 turrets for 8 Marines and a medevac. Lin just getting further and further ahead.
Lin does have a slight positional advantage. Uh-oh.
Oh, he's going to attack in.
But these siege tanks are naked.
Wow, Lin actually...
Oh my god,
way
why
over.
did he just drop that?
Oh, man. You know, the thing about that little siege tank contain that I did not mention is you need to have a lot of siege tanks over there so you have the critical mass that people can't just break through like we just saw SC Foyu do, and suddenly SC Foyu takes a lead.
Yeah, Lin could lose this now. He had a great advantage.
Yeah.
He sort of threw it away.
Having a lot of siege tanks is quite important. Muy importante.
And now, I'm waiting to see exactly how SC Foyu is going to react. Foyu is going to react. The longer this game's going on this map, the more complicated the situation gets.
Yeah.
Expansions are either like over here where you can both drop so quickly, or over down here where if you attack them, you get counterattacked quickly.
Yeah. You know, SC Foyu, his army is pretty fierce right now. He's got 3 more siege tanks than Lin, as we see. Well, now just 1 more.
All right, Lin is again just trying to maintain position. He made a blunder moving out this far and not protecting him. By the way, we have a drop over here. Now remember, these barracks actually kind of block off this area over here where he could drop.
Yeah, that's right.
He scans the destructible rocks or debris. Oh, by the way, we have a drop in the main too.
Some nice Marines come down from Lin, but Marines just rush in from SC, and he cleans it up relatively easily.
Another drop over here.
We do have Lin's drop coming out as well.
Now this might be the most important drop of them all.
Yeah, this is a very important one. SC dropping these Marines, and it's going to be hard for him to get back there. That is 2 medevacs full of Marines that have stim and combat shields. So he's actually going to have to send over some heavy-duty units, but to do that, he's going to have to lift off the barracks.
No, he actually gets to get fit through there.
The Marines can, but the siege tanks cannot. So right now he's fighting Marines with fewer Marines that don't have medevacs. So Lin actually, a huge blunder. Those barracks turn out to be far worse than even we anticipated, Tasteless.
Yeah, I know. That was just a hypothetical we threw out there, but now it's gotten even worse. Lin not handling this well. By the way, he's taking the gold base. We're going to shut that in a minute.
And he even has to lift that off. That's very bad. Look at that. You got supply cap for a moment. 134 to 116 supply. Lin in the back. And as SCV-wise, though, Lin is doing very well. He has 51 SCVs still. And wait a minute. Up at the expansion of Lin, he sends them back to mine. And actually loses a bunch of them.
Meanwhile, down here, Lin is losing yet another critical position, which is going to open up this to be attacked. In fact, the SCV is not even there. Probably picked off.
Wow, Lin looking like he is going to be in a lot of trouble as the gold base is about to be hit.
He's moving towards it now. He cancels.
Smart move to cancel there, but...
And Lin is miles behind right now.
Yeah, Lin's in some trouble. You know, luckily the supply isn't too far behind, but...
There's another drop over here. Lin just can't handle the harassment. SC is just too good. And it looks like this famous War 3 Pro is going to lose in the round of 64 for the second time. It's tough to say, but I mean, he's taken some pretty big blows, and now this command center's on the way.
Yeah, you know, I think there's still some chance here for Lin, but SC has taken a clear advantage. He's got the siege tank advantage. He keeps on doing some nice drops.
And he's going to do a drop again back here.
Ooh.
And this base, once again,
actually gets sieged up,
is naked.
He's going to have to be careful, though, if Lin just crushes through that. But 4 siege tanks is quite a few. Just wants it to be as cost-effective as is possible. And here come a bunch of Marines. It looks like Lin is going to be able to clean this up pretty well.
Very nice by him.
Yeah, that was actually excellent by Lin. And now SC, he's like, never mind, I don't want to be ahead anymore. And as quickly as that, 107 to 114 supply, Lin has a supply advantage. And in fact, if we look at the unit counting station for important units here, Lin right now with 3 Vikings and 10 siege tanks, and SC, he has 10 siege tanks but no Vikings. A lot of Marines, of course, but Lin has even more Marines. So Lin suddenly is in the lead again. Very bad dropping by SC.
Yeah, that drop could not have been worse. I think he's getting ahead of himself. Now comes Lin, though, engaging. Note the siege tank's behind the smoke. He scans to see if he can spot him.
Does have the medevacs for some spotting.
Guys, don't forget to ask these players questions, which Artosis can then ask them. John and Jay will pick them out, or double J's. We got to get... there's a lot of stuff going on in this game that we could ask these guys. So if you're wanting to learn about Terran vs. Terran, this is what to do it. I can't believe Lin just did siege mode like that and allow that tank to get an extra hit.
Yeah, that's kind of funny because tanks actually have higher DPS out of siege mode.
Yeah. They're just only there for positional purposes because you get the first shot up. SC breaks through, though, but there's more units coming this way.
That's right. It looks like Lin is going to secure this third base pretty easily. The same time SC coming down, so they're going to secure similar times. Looks like SC wants to land a little bit further from the minerals, though.
Meanwhile, there's a counterattack over here. He wants to force Lin out of position.
Now, this is what we were talking about earlier.
That's why this map gets so tricky in the mid-game and late game.
Certainly does. Lin is going to panic a little bit here. This is not a good thing.
Not a good thing indeed.
Oh, no, he's going to get right up on the production facilities. Beautiful location. And now Lin is in so much trouble. It was such an even game there for a moment, but I don't know how Lin's going to break out of here.
Lin just unable to keep an advantage after he has it for a little while.
And he's going to lose a ton of SCVs here. And all those Marines and Marauders.
Meanwhile, he does siege up and push this command center elsewhere.
Oh, but SC's attack is still going on. He's sending even more units. And this has been a blunder by Lin. He did not send enough. When someone does an attack like this to you, you have to crush it brutally.
That's true. So now the gold is going to be taken. If he keeps himself occupied over here, Lin can't actually make any more units. He has to lift and then remake the add-ons and stuff. And that's just not enough time to recover. Lin does control the Zelnanga Watchtower where his expansion is, so he is getting more money, but you have to be able to spend that money on stuff.
That's right, and he's just not doing that. Just so many units flowing from SC, getting very far ahead. It's 57 supply to 109, almost twice as much for SC. The production facilities are just going away. Lin he's looking dead to me, Tasteless.
Yeah, I think at this point in time, he's got this. He is going to take the gold. Does not look like... He does know he even has the gold. He just can't actually deal with it. Look at the supply difference. Right now, SC almost doubling it.
Over doubling now after this last round of units. And Lin just can't break out. He just absolutely cannot break out of this.
And look at how much has been destroyed. This place is barren.
Yeah. The thing is, now SC can move out and do anything he wants because he had to bring back all units from the center.
Right.
And that's what we have happening, Tasteless. SC is going, he is stemming, he's running up. Lin is way out of position.
That's going to be checkmate.
Terran vs. Terran, such a positional matchup.
Yeah. And I think we should see GG any sec now. He's got the gold.
Lin, once again, will be stopped at the round of 64.
And there it is, GG.
And Lin is out.
Damn, SC's taking nerds out.
You know, that first game, he did not impress me overly, but he really showed his good play in games 2 and 3.
Yeah, he was actually awesome in those other games.
So it looks
there is that funny guy. I love that kind of stuff. So,
yep. Drinking some Powerade. It's so delicious, so refreshing.
It's so yummy, yummy, yum, yum. But he's also tasting the loss, swallowing
defeat,
the not victory,
swallowing
the defeat.
sadness.
Thank you.
Care Bear tears.
I almost had to bust out like a thesaurus right now. So that gets us halfway through today's games.
That was a long series.
That was very long. I feel like we were casting that for like an hour and a half or something.
Felt like it.
I think it almost was. Pretty epic series there, but really entertaining. I think that was easily one of the best TBT series we've seen. Recommend that to your friends.
A lot of mistakes in it, but
yeah,
it was actually very action-packed, very back and forth. These guys traded the lead over and over and over. You know, Lin, he made some big mistakes there. When the attack first came, he should have reacted to it as if it was, you know, some sort of cancer in his base. Get rid of it fully right then, right there. Don't play any games with this type of attack.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because when they get on your production facilities and you're Terran, that's when you lose the game.
Yeah, that is when you're in some serious trouble. So there you go. Lynn is out. Sad day for Warcraft 3 players. I'm sure we'll see Lynn again, though.
Yep.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
He's a great player.
And we still have Moon in the tournament, right?
Absolutely.
Moon is still here.
He is in.
Moon. I love that guy. He's such a nice guy in person.
He is.
And he's so good. He's very good at StarCraft 2. You played him. I played him. He's very good. So look forward to that as well. Now, we're going to close this out in a minute here, guys. Actually, we're going to close it out right now.
We're going to have an interview with SC4U.
Yeah, I hope you guys have some questions.
Don't go far.
Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll see you again soon.